Hold on. One check. Welcome to the Surgeons Podcast. You never know what we'll be talking about. You never know who we'll be talking to. You never know what David's going to be wearing, what shoes he'll be bringing out today. That's cool, man. I see you.
Thanks, man.
I see you stunning today.
Had to switch it up.
You never know what color Kirron's hair is going to be. Still strawberry blonde. Still strawberry blonde, and it's looking lovely.
Got your legs out today.
Hey, I have to show them, man.
No socks.
No socks.
Damn.
Hey, come on, David, come on.
Something's different.
Relax.
Something's happened. No glasses.
It's changed, man.
I want to be more
Something's
personal.
changed. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh
We're going to find out.
We'll find out during the podcast.
We'll find out on the search. And we have Isaac here today. Isaac, what's your last name?
Marshman.
Isaac Marshman. Come on, give it the right. Come on.
Welcome.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
Exciting.
Been a big fan. Been listening.
Yeah. I heard it's gonna be a little Royal Rumble today. Well,
Nice.
It's not. I don't want to actually frame anything this way. I'm tired of doing that. I'm done with that. I don't want to create any conflict. This is about love. It's about respect, discourse.
Truth,
Perfect.
peace.
Truth. Yeah, sometimes. Who says the truth here?
The search. The search for the truth.
You've been saying the truth the whole time.
Nah,
I thought we've been lying altogether.
David's like, what the?
not the full truth.
Yeah, not
but,
the
you
full
know,
truth. Trainers. KB said you're not needed.
Kirron's a trainer.
Isaac's a trainer. Kirron last week said you're
Introduce
not
Isaac. Say he's a very good trainer.
Yeah, let's go.
He's a very good trainer. He's a very good coach.
David knows
He
Isaac
works
more
with
than
David.
He works with me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, David, you know her more than me.
That's an introduction. Just say,
I don't know how
that's
to
what
do-
Isaac does.
don't know
He's
how
a
to-
very good trainer.
Or should we just let the guest introduce himself?
Yeah.
introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, my name's Isaac, and I am a trainer. So started my own training academy, Element Basketball, and I've been doing it now. I think I started in like November. I've been doing it longer than that, so it's been a bit of a journey to get there. But I guess why I'm sitting here today is because that you guys had the conversation last week, and I responded to it. I actually liked the video, and I liked a lot of the points that were brought up. And I messaged you when I saw it, and I was like, hey, this is really good. And
Gave me 12
it
paragraphs.
was long, eh?
Said,
it
yo,
was
we
long.
need to have this in person.
I don't remember what I said.
I like how you're like, we know all this. So when Isaac turned up, it wasn't a surprise. You're like, so let's talk about something else. Let's talk about this.
I don't really mind what we talk about. Like, obviously, we've been talking about me coming on for a little while, and I'm always open to talk about anything. My favorite episode from you guys so far was what was it called? It was the one you guys were talking about, like faith and everything. So I really enjoyed that one. But
Well, I want to hear this 12-paragraph thing. Like, let's start with that.
Yeah.
Should I open it? I wanted to bring it up discreetly because it was a
was-
bit of intense last week. We haven't posted the whole thing yet. It was a bit intense last week, as David said.
I was waiting
When
for
it
the
wasn't.
whole. I was waiting for the whole
Everyone's
conversation
waiting
to
for the
come
whole-
up.
It's on the way. I've had some technical difficulties. Don't worry about it.
Tim's not the best.
Don't
at
worry
it.
about technical
His
difficulties.
production's slow. We need a production assistant. I don't know what happened there, but
What happened to our other episode
it's-
from like...
Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We're
like,
working
still
on our
trying to
stuff.
figure
We're
that
here
out.
now.
so what was it about? What's your feedback?
Yeah, I can't even really remember what I wrote.
He was saying everything you said was nonsense. I'm just gonna call it.
Which is fair. That's the idea. There's
Is that
got to
what I
be.
said?
Yeah.
If not, then you
I don't
maybe you
think-
should have.
Well, first, you lightened the blow. Pause by saying, hey, I agree with Kirron, but
Appreciate all of your opinions.
I said I agree with you, but
Well,
I'm also a
I-
trainer, and this is this.
Yeah.
And,
So, like-
and that was a bit of.
I'm constantly. I just finished Last Chance U, the season 2 of it. I've really enjoyed that Netflix series, but during that I was really thinking about I've stepped into this world of being a trainer, and so I was a coach for 12 years, and then over those 12 years. Had different jobs, worked in schools, was a personal trainer, and then just was coaching, and it kind of got to a point where I was like, I don't think it's going to be really hard to turn this into a career, just in terms of like how much time I put into it compared to, the money that came back in. And, getting to an age now where it's like, at some point I'm going to have a family that I got to support and all this sort of stuff. So, I started studying, started studying teaching for the second or third time. You know, I deferred a couple of times, and yeah, so I was studying, and I started letting, you know, my friends know and whatnot, and everyone's response was, you know, that's so good, like Isaac's doing the responsible thing and whatnot. And then, but every single time someone said it was so good, there was like just this little part of me that kind of hated it, because it felt like I just had kind of given up on, you know, that direction of sport and whatever else. And I really like the idea of becoming a teacher, but the reason I wanted to become a teacher was to start a basketball program at a school and develop that. So yeah, and Jesse Gee, who's been on the show, he FaceTimed me one day, and he was like, "Oh, what are you up to?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just studying." So showed him all my study notes, and he kind of gave me a little bit of a verbal abuse, like, "Dude, just do basketball. Like, just take 2 steps in and stop, like, with all this other stuff. Like, you don't actually like it, so just do basketball." And so
sounds like Jesse.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So at that point, I should say, I'd spent the last 3 years working at different basketball academies, just kind of, I guess, working under other people and learning, and you know, had some pretty cool experiences. Got to work with, you know, a pretty big trainer over in America, Drew Hanlon, and yeah, he just kind of opened my eyes to, I guess, another side of basketball, where I'd always been in that team environment. But yeah, so just kind of decided I needed to come up with a name. Came up with a name within 24 hours. There was a basketball tournament coming up. I was like, that's probably a pretty cool chance to, you know, have a little bit of merch, have a jersey, get a team together and play in it. So that's kind of just, it all happened within 48 hours after Jesse told me to quit uni. And so I kind of did. So I just quit and I just started. And then, yeah, just since, I think that happened in about, September, October, and here now. So just trying to grow it. And
so you focusing more specifically on coaching individuals at a time, or okay, so individuals.
Yeah, so now, just working with individuals and then smaller groups. And yeah, so I've started that, and no, it's been pretty cool. It's been a cool experience for me. And but like I was saying before, I was watching Last Chance U, and I was watching these guys that, you know, they impact these like young people's lives with basketball, right? And that's kind of what you were talking about before. Like it's not just on the court; it's also life and all this other stuff. And I was really having some questions after I finished that. I was like, am I doing the right thing? Because I think the first thing I said to you in that message was, basketball's a team sport that can be broken down into a 3v3, 3v2, 1v1, and all the way down to a 1v0, right? Like you yourself on a court this morning, just on your own, shooting. And so it's a sport where I think people can really make it quite selfish. And I think this kind of era we're going into, where there's a lot of trainers, everything becomes about the individual, and a sport that's meant to be played as a team.
But that's what you guys were doing this morning.
I know that. So that's, I guess that's something that, like, I'm constantly thinking about. It's like, it's not just about this person here. It's not just about making them better on the court. It's not about me saying, hey, like, your coach should be giving you every single shot, this and that. It's, you know, you're an individual that's going to be on a team. And the way I see myself, like, in a role, like when I was a personal trainer, you know, you can tell someone to do a push-up and you might be able to correct their form and stuff, but that's not the only thing you're doing. You're also kind of like their therapist, you're their friend, sometimes you've got to be like a good cop, sometimes it's a bad cop. Like you've got a lot of different roles within one thing. And I guess now, like, committing to this thing of being a trainer, just trying to like assess myself and how I'm impacting that individual. And so for me, like, I don't know, it's just like a constant thing of like, am I doing the right thing by this person, you know? And, you know, how can I be the best person for this person to develop into not just a basketball player, but a person as well. So that was the first thing I led with, was just like, you know, it's definitely like a sport that can be very selfish, even though it's played with, you know, a team.
So you're still figuring out whether you're doing the right thing or not. Or
yeah, it's something I question, I guess. Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on that? What are you guys' thoughts on what he's doing?
David.
I think it's great. Well, I think the conversation we had last week, and remember we had that phone call where it was,
You guys having phone calls behind my back?
We tried to, yeah, because you're so confrontational.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man.
We just try and work
That's cool.
out.
As soon as we leave here,
how
right?
do
You
we
guys
calm,
go.
how do we calm this guy down?
how do we calm this guy down?
Damn.
This is crazy.
It's kind of like we had the conversation about. I remember trying to summarize it, like showing you certain things and people actually like walking you through things and teaching you. I can't remember that conversation.
I can't remember either. But I think it's
It was
really
late
good.
night.
It's
It was
late.
It was
It's
early.
late at
It was
night.
early morning.
It's late at night.
pretty
I just
late.
woke up. This guy just called me. I was half asleep.
Head
so
was
I'm
in the
like,
pillow.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's
it's
Late night.
I
perfect.
just
I
stand
sent
up.
him I sent him a text first.
Hey, you up?
Yeah. Hey, you are. 2 a.m. Is that what you usually get?
No, I don't get that.
I think it's great. I don't think there's any question that what you're doing is a really, really good thing. And I think that with that heart and that the desire to help people become better people, that that is the role of someone who does training very well. And then that's my perspective on it. I think that if you're doing it just for the money or you're doing it as a business, and then that takes a lot of the care and the time and the extra effort you put into the people you're working with. And sometimes that's the direction it goes. And then you sort of get really gimmicky, flashy kind of stuff because that's what people want to. That's what entertains them, and there's obviously roles for that in terms of using tennis balls for coordination and eye hand and all that stuff. But really the thing that I think separates is how much care and love and effort you put into developing the person as opposed to just making that money for an hour a week kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Like, I mean, myself, I'm constantly trying to, I guess, get better in the space that I'm in now. And you see a lot of stuff on Instagram where it's like, I don't know how that helps that individual, I guess.
Like Drew Hanlon?
I think Drew's pretty good, personally. But there's some others out there that I do think are fairly gimmicky. And I could be wrong. Dave, he'd be able to tell you, I don't think I'm too gimmicky.
No, he's not.
But
no gimmick.
yeah.
If he's helping you, then he's not gimmicky. It's
literally,
like
it's
literally if you feel as though someone is actually helping you on your journey, then it's not gimmicky. It's that's almost my definition. If you walk away from it going, "Oh, that was a great workout," and then you're actually not better, then what's the point of the workout?
Yeah, I think for me, like, what a trainer should be, outside of, if we're talking just strictly basketball, is I think I gave the example in the message. Like, I've worked in like special ed, and I've been a teacher aide and stuff in the classroom. So I'm often working with those kids that don't function in a large group setting, like a classroom setting. And I think what I can do, and some kids that do function all right in a classroom setting as well, but just being that person that goes, okay, like, you're an individual, you're going back to your team. Like, Dave and I today were talking about, what his role is for the Suns and how we can, work on the stuff that he's going to be having to do for that team. But then even when it comes to like skill development, club basketball these days for kids, like, they rock up, it's an hour, dad might be taking the training session and they don't really know how to teach. They might not even be able to teach one kid how to do things. Mm-hmm. I feel like I can streamline that process, I guess, where it's like, I've figured out ways to teach a 6-year-old, and you got to figure out like 20 different ways to explain one thing. But like, figuring out, okay, this is how we do it, and then go ahead and then.
How can you do that to more than 6-7 kids at a time?
It's very hard.
It's
very hard.
That must be the challenge, right?
And that's the, like, coaching team basketball for 12 years at any level. Like, I had the opportunity to coach club, school, rep, and all that. And it's, in the end, like, there's probably someone that's going to miss out, like, there's someone that's going to miss out on maybe the teaching they needed that night or whatever it is. And, probably my favorite experience I had as a coach was when I was an assistant coach for under 16s at Wizards. And, the head coach, like, he loved to yell, he loved to get up the kids and all that sort of stuff. And then I figured my role in that team was to be able to come over, and after this kid's just been chewed out by the coach, put an arm around them and go, hey, like, he's got, you in mind, but he's also thinking about the team. But, I can take you away. And now I found, like, I guess, a career path where I always get to be that guy, where it's kind of like, okay, I get to be with this individual, and yeah, I guess just create a space where they're able to learn and they're not having to compare themselves to other people necessarily, and they can go at their own pace. And yeah, I'm also really big on, like, in the end, probably the most I train with someone is twice a week. And so it's like, what are you doing outside of here? Like, if you really want to get better, like, I can help you out with stuff, but in the end, like, this is up to you. And the guys that go away and do it consistently, they seem to be the guys I work with that come back as well. So, yeah, I think like in any profession, like there's people that, half-ass it, and then there's guys that try to really put in the time. And I like to think I'm someone that really puts in the time. So, but there definitely is, like, a lot of rubbish out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. It's all over Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a lot of them.
It's definitely, the only problem is it's definitely part of it. So, I mean, coming to terms with that, and me being idealistic, saying that you got to care, but then there's going to be 20 kids who just want you to entertain them. You know what I mean? So, and they're going to pay a certain amount of money. So I think that if you are going to make a business and you want to be full time, then you've got to be able to cater for both. Like in yourself. And I think that's that can be difficult, but designing your business and that strategy is probably a good idea. So you can do a camp with 20 kids and you just getting them through stuff, exposing them to basketball and being positive and stuff, but then also the people who are putting the work in, showing that love and the time and reviewing tape and working with them closely. So it's because that's the market and that's what the parents expect. And, unfortunately in business, you got to go to that market.
You got to do that, yeah. Are you headed to the, sorry to cut you off. Brian Gorge is coming to do like a coaching clinic. Are you headed? You guys gonna head to
That's at Hooper's Heaven, eh?
Yeah, you're gonna head to it.
No,
no one's headed to that.
I haven't heard of that.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Who else is going?
I actually don't.
I bought a ticket. I'm going.
Bought a ticket?
Yeah.
Brian Gorgian. Who else?
Brian Gorgian. I don't know who else he's bringing.
Is that the Boomers?
That's the Boomers. That's the Boomers.
Head coach.
Boomers head coach, who unfortunately hasn't won anything in the international level, right?
Yeah, he came third.
Won a bronze
So
medal.
is he that good?
Rose gold.
Yeah.
Bronze?
Yeah.
I think Australia is good enough for gold.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
This year, let's win the gold.
This year.
Yeah, it's the Olympics this year.
This is Paddy's last year.
It's Paddy's last year.
Is
right?
it?
Paddy's last. Is it his last
Is it?
Olympics? Is
It may not be his last
I know
Olympics.
it may or may not be.
Is
so
it?
it's like
This is the
I don't
year.
know.
This is
Where will
Australia's-
they go after him if he was to leave? Who could lead Australia to the gold?
Bryce Cotton.
They don't want him.
You
I
know,
mean, isn't he a citizen now? They want him. Apparently.
I thought they haven't
The
wanted
people
him for
want
a
him.
while.
I heard. People want him.
What would Australia have to change to, besides a coach or anything? What would Australia have to change to win gold finally?
The system.
The system?
what would they have to change?
What do you know about the system, Dave? You were
I don't
born last week. What you know about the
I'm just
Olympic
throwing
system?
words out so you old guys can elaborate
can
on
add
it. You
on
know what
to
I mean?
What would they have to change?
'Cause we are talented. But you know, they say NBL is not a cupcake league.
I think the last Olympics was like that. I think we're going to struggle a little bit this next one. I think the last one was our real shot. We had that 16-point lead on Team USA, and then we blew it.
Yeah.
And that was like kind of like, you know, this team that's been together for so long, and the way it just kind of like moved around, you know, Paddy off the ball. They were really looking quite good.
They were leaving Nick
one
K open a lot, letting him, and then by the end, you know, those guys weren't feeling it.
But no one also talks about the fact that we lost Aaron Baines during that campaign, and one of our biggest issues in that second half was US just kept on offensive rebounding against us, and we couldn't get any stops. So, but yeah, we had that 16-point lead, and if we win that, I don't know, gold looks pretty close.
But we have all the resources,
It's a young team.
NBA guys. Why is it Serbia always ahead of us? Spain always ahead of us? USA always ahead of us? France, Lithuania.
Germany. Didn't Germany just win
Germany
the
just won.
FIBA World Cup?
They did. Why? This is what we want to search for, you know? Maybe not in public. We'll do it after the cameras are gone. That's when it will bring some honesty. No, I'm sorry. I don't know, man.
Maybe you should go to Hooper's Heaven and find out.
I don't need a
find
shooting
out.
machine.
Go talk to Gorgon and see what he says. I'm sure he'll have a lot of opinions as to why, we weren't quite able to get
Well,
over.
he has to protect his job, so he'll say whatever. I'm sure he's not willing to change anything. I'm sure, and I don't even know the guy, but he's had the job for how long? A couple of years, right? A few Olympics.
It's been a long time.
I'm not sure. I don't
few Olympics. So
follow it.
whatever he says will be to make the higher ups happy to keep him there, and I'm sure he doesn't want to not be there. I'm not saying there needs to be a change. I don't know. I don't follow them enough. I just know Australia is super talented, and we're not lacking anything except like a superstar like Kevin Durant or something. We have up and coming guys who are doing well in the league, Josh Giddey and these guys. I really love Josh Giddey, how he was affected by last world champs, because he looked like he gave his heart out and just couldn't get it over, just couldn't get over the line against Slovenia. So I'm like, okay, hopefully that turns him into a demon and he gets us over there. But I don't know enough to be talking this much about Australian basketball, so I apologize.
You brought it up. I don't know.
I'm just trying to bring conflict here, guys. You know this about me. I'm sorry. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm going to leave it alone.
What conflict is there with Australian basketball?
There really is no conflict. It's just basketball.
I think the whole world's pretty talented. Makes it tough.
Yeah. The world is talented. Yeah, man.
Continue in that conversation, you guys. Is that what you guys talked about in that conversation from last week's podcast? What do you respond with?
I just said, come and let's talk about it. I exaggerated, making it look like or seem like we were saying trainers don't matter at all. I exaggerated that, but because I was saying there's two extremes where, there's guys who got to those levels without trainers. Michael Jordan's, the old school guys who just had to work on their game by themselves. Jordan had Tim Grover, but that was like a weights guy. Kobe had him as like a weights guy. They didn't have anyone actively every day telling them what to do and how to do it. They were just looking for answers themselves and, just trying to find and going to figure out different ways to get better by themselves. And then there's new guys who are doing that today, all in the NBA. The James Hardens, the Paul Georges, and those guys who have trainers that are with them 24/7, and they haven't reached a level of greatness that they're great. They're just not Jordan, and no one's Jordan, but they're just not the Larry Birds. There's something special about when you watch them. I don't know if it's just nostalgia or what, but there's something special about watching those guys who aren't so robotic or are just figuring stuff out as they go, no matter against who.
I think in everyone's story, though, like everyone has some sort of help along the way. Like I was listening to a podcast the other day. I could probably find the guy's name, but he told his story, and he didn't play any basketball growing up. He was super unathletic, wasn't any good, and he found a way to kind of crack the NBA in like a video analysis sense. And someone gave his number to Kobe Bryant, and Kobe hit him up. Was like, hey, like I'm having some trouble scoring on the Houston Rockets. This was when there was like Shane Battier, Ron Artest, Yao Ming, and so he hit him up. He's like, hey, I'm having some troubles. Like, are you able to help me out? And he came back with a report, basically because Kobe was playing the Houston Rockets in a couple of days, and gave it to him. And then apparently they had a pretty good working relationship for a long time after that. And so, Kobe wanted it for the next game and the next game and the next game, and he just wanted those video analysis. So, I don't know. I think like, yeah, I just think like everyone, might need a little bit of help along the way with different things, and people are obviously always trying to find an edge, and just to get better. And I don't know. I think everyone's reasoning for reaching out to different people could be different as well. So there's a young kid that I'm working with, and he's not the best player, but he for him, just the excitement of making like the Division 3 team and getting to be part of a team was for his school was like huge for him. And now he's making, building relationships with other kids. And yeah, like basketball has so many different avenues. Like it opens so much up to you. And like I've had so many great experiences because of basketball. And I don't know, for me, like I was, after David and our session today, like we went way overtime. We had we had no idea what the time is. He was like, I got to leave at 1, and he's gone to get a drink, and I've gone to just write some notes down in my phone, and it was like 1:15, and so we didn't realize it was that late. So, but that session kind of reminded me of, Jesse Gee being one of my best mates growing up. Just being in the backyard, like figuring stuff out. Like I'd say today, you and I were asking questions to each other. Like I was like, how do you feel with this, and what do you think about this, and so it's like almost like a work, like, I don't know, just building a relationship. And it was so much fun. Like for me, it was so much fun today. So just like figuring stuff out. And it took me right back to, me and Jesse in the backyard, just figuring stuff out ourselves, watching YouTube and whatever else. Just, something that I really love about basketball. And it's kind of cool that, all these years on, I'm kind of still getting to do that.
Pass it on. David, what do you love about basketball, man?
Me, it's I love the competitiveness, like competing, like seeing how far I can go, I guess, like against the best of the best, and try to compete against the best of the best, try to guard the best player, try to score in the best defender. Like that's the reason why I get up in the mornings and trains, but I want to win too. Like I just want to feel like or be a winner. You know what I mean? Be like a winner, compete against the best, and for me, it's just seeing how far really I can go. It's really all about me.
Yeah, you've come out of your shell a bit recently. It's cool to watch.
Yeah. It's a journey. That's what I realized. I can't get too worried about the results. I just gotta understand it's all a journey. But you just gotta work on you. You gotta figure it all out. And it was cool last week because I feel like my perspective on how to view certain things after our conversation was like, I realized that it's really all about you. Like Kirron said, you're your best expert. Like no one else can give you the answers that you want. It's all like no one can tell me how David John's gonna live besides me. And just focusing on me and seeing what I can do, but still, understanding that I can get help. You know what I mean? Like the things that we work on with Isaac is things that I believe that will improve my game, and I use his sessions, and I go back to my trainings, go back to the games, BSBL on Sundays or Wednesday practice, Monday games, and try to work on the things that we do, and for now it's been working. It's been great, and then we find out what's next, and if it doesn't work, then we just keep trying, find something new that will work. But like I just take that, use it for myself, see how I can use it, and it's a journey basically. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. KB, you've been on the other side of it. You've been the trainer, not the trainer, but you've helped guys go from.
I was a trainer for
10
years, man. That's what I did. That's what
I didn't know you'd call yourself that. I didn't know.
Well, I mean, like that's technically what it is. That's all we do at St. James is training.
Yeah, true. What's your favorite thing about it?
Everything that's been said. So just helping individuals identify what, motivated individuals, help identify what they want to work on and help them achieve whatever their goals are.
What is it like when they don't listen?
That's my responsibility to try to find other ways to get them. Because if they're motivated, then they just don't understand. Like if they're motivated to get better, then they're not listening. They just aren't hearing, I guess, or there's a block or there's a barrier. And as a trainer, your job is to try to find another way to connect with whatever's going on and get them to move forward. Because that block, could be fear, could be self-doubt, could be someone else saying they weren't capable, and just trying to, I guess, break through that as quickly as possible so they can move forward and improve. Yeah, so like if they're not interested, then it doesn't matter what you say anyway. So
Yeah, they won't do anything anyway.
so it's just a process.
Yeah. Yeah, basketball is fun, man.
If you're motivated and you want to do it.
If you're motivated.
What made y'all love basketball? I know we haven't had this question before. I want
What
to.
made you love basketball?
Yeah, what made-
Just being told I probably won't be good. That's it. That's what it was, just to prove people wrong. That's really the biggest part of it for me. And I think I've proved to myself that I'm all right. Now it just depends if I want to go further.
Yeah,
That's
but you
all.
think about like NBL 1, you think about Division 1, you think about all the things you've done. Like that's top, like 1% of basketballers. You know what I
It
mean?
doesn't
Like,
feel like it.
no, it doesn't, because when you're there, it never feels like it. So, you know, like you look at LeBron, he's trying to chase Jordan. You know what I mean?
True.
And why? Because he doesn't quite, like, and he keeps saying, I'm the greatest. If you're the greatest, you don't have to tell everyone you're the greatest every day. So, you know, like, who's he chasing? Like, if he's the greatest, you're not chasing anyone. So it doesn't matter how high you go, you know, like, he's trying to find motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, so he just keeps, you know, saying that. So it's like, it doesn't matter where you're at. I think that, you know, you never really feel like you're, you know, the greatest, because otherwise you'd stop.
Yeah. It's been cool. There's been like these new, young, up and coming guys would think they'll come at you, you know what I mean? Like
Who?
Like
David. At school or where?
everywhere I've played recently, they'll just come at, and then they'll laugh at your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Me personally. So I'll beat them every way possible. I'll shoot a 3 and they'll be ha 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 ha. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker.
Gotcha.
You bitch.
You can't shoot threes.
Okay. All right. How about the other 20 I'll put on you or whatever?
but that's
15.
what it's about.
But I like that. I like it. It's cool. It's like, all right.
But that's all these kids have. They're not going to show you they're better. They're just going to laugh
won't
when you
do
make
that.
a mistake.
They'll laugh when you make a mistake. And it's like, all right. If that's what you want to do, let's do that. You know? Let's do
And look
that.
at me like I was the one doing it.
I'm not
man.
looking at you. You're just in my sight right now.
I'm like, hey,
Let's
you
do
know,
it, David. If that's what you want to do.
That's not my way, man. That's not my way.
No, I like you don't say anything. Like you said, if you feel like you're better, you won't feel like you have to say anything. You don't have to. You just won't have to.
You don't say anything. Like your game does the talking for you. You sit there talking about how good you are and how bad the other person is, but you just lost 20-0 or you lost by 50. You can still talk all you want. Oh yeah, but you see I crossed you up, you fell over. You lost by 50. Yeah, but you see my cross? It's on Instagram. It's the only thing I got. Like, that's today's game.
What if they're winning? See, here's the trick now. They'll go somewhere. They know they can
win?
compete. Yeah.
Win. Below their level.
Below their level.
Yeah.
And then talk
Cool.
crazy. Like 2 of them do this a lot. But anyway, and then they'll just talk so much. And it's like,
but then,
dog.
Well, you put them in situations where, or they just don't play situations, and then they get towed up, and then they sit there and they get upset and sooky and go back to where they're good. And like, I just don't deal with people like that, because I'm like, you actually aren't on the journey to get better. You're not searching to get better. You're just searching to please your ego, and that's going to crash. And when that crashes, there's nothing
back.
we can.
You'll just
No,
go
or
back.
you go do what you'll quit, or you'll cry, or you'll blame other people, or you'll make up excuses, or you'll try and bring other people down, or you make a YouTube video or an Instagram video. You'll do a whole bunch of stuff to try and convince yourself that you made it.
Yeah.
But we both know that you never did. So,
Yeah. Well, I like to, even to people who are better than me, I'll still talk. Just for competitiveness, because I'm not going to back down anyway. Not talk in terms of disrespect them. Like, hey, no, you can't talk to me anyway, because I'm going to compete regardless.
Exactly. And
I'm going to still compete
if
against
you
them.
both competed and then that was the end of it,
And they got the better, it's like, all right, you got the better,
move on.
you know. Oh, man. Yeah, I've had some people embarrass me. But
Embarrass you.
I've had some people embarrass.
We
Just
talking about
so
Fridays?
much better. No, never on a Friday. You're ridiculous.
Yeah, but
lost your
like in
fucking mind.
in college and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You can just meet people who are just that much
Just
better
better.
than you.
Just better.
And like the thing is that when people are that much better than you, like you don't again go to Jordan. He's like Old Bird, all those guys. They're just telling you what they're doing. They do it, and then they walk off and go, well, they tell the coach, "You need to sub this guy out." You know what I mean? Or okay, I'll play left-handed because you can't guard my right hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's how good I am. And everyone's just like, yeah, they're crazy stories. And they just say those stories over and over and over again because they're that good.
Yeah. Still at their old age,
But
still talking about it.
There's just evidence. Like everyone's just like, you don't understand. Like these aren't guys who are talking it up and then didn't come through. Like this is not Jordan Poole. You know what I mean? Like, or people like that who are like, look how I'm the greatest of all time. Well, evidence says you're not. Like, it's not like that. These people performed and they backed it up. And talking's not a bad thing if you back it up. But if talking's all you have and that's your game, and then cutting video of the one move you made is your game, but that's how it works now. Because a 30-second clip, you can sell that.
You can sell that one move.
Oh, look at my layup. Like, you know, there's kids who and parents who are making money out of Instagram, and they'll, you know, be at a rep game, whatever, and they'll get a steal and they'll do a fancy layup. They're like, yeah, I'm going to be the next big thing. And it's like, if in America, if the next big thing got a steal, they're doing a windmill. They're not doing a finger roll under the hoop. Like you have no concept.
You don't know
what the next big thing is. Like you think everyone's like, oh, that guy's athletic under 16s, finger roll.
Yeah.
Like America, the guy's coming down and you know, throwing a windmill over someone and then running back and doing it again the next play. Like that's the next big thing in the NBA. So, but people talk it up because it's the next big thing in this little pond. And and I get it. They're really, really good in this little Brisbane pond that they live in. Or even in Australia, like it's a little pond, and you know you're not comparative to the next big thing in America or Europe. You're not even in the same conversation, and that's fine. Like that's how people talk now, you know, because the evidence is that they video them killing people who they can kill. Yeah, they're not searching for.
But how do you simulate that to people who do want to get there? There might be. But you really can't simulate it unless you're there in front of that guy who's blowing by you. And
you've got to be the best you can be in this country, like the best you can be all the time. Refine your moves, like identify, you know, what people are doing at the highest level, and then make sure that you're doing that because you know that's like you got to make the assumption that is necessary at the highest level. That's why they're doing it. They're not doing it because like for fun. They've played thousands of hours in the NBA or at the Olympics or whatever it is. They're doing that because if they don't do that, it's going to get stolen or blocked, right? You can't just go, oh, they're not very good. So you got to assume like they are good. They're some of the best players in the world, the top 0.001%. Yeah. Either athletically or skill or IQ or touch or whatever it is. That's how good they are. So find the best exemplars of what you want to be. And then start playing like that, and when you start figuring it out, you're like, oh, okay, I put the ball here. Why? Because that guy can't steal it. And then I finish like this because I can get that off. And then all of a sudden, you're playing a style that you know is going to work at an elite level. So if you get the opportunity to play at an elite level, you already have a style that works. Yeah. Rather than beating kids at this age and going, okay, look at me, oh, look this. That's right, because that guy's like 6'4", and he can barely touch the rim. The dude you're practicing against is 6'9" and touch the top of the backboard. You better be finishing that from outside the keyway, off the backboard with a high arc, right? Oh, I don't need to do that. No, I know you don't need to do that. And the hardest part is convincing people. But if they don't have aspirations of greatness, then you're wasting your time anyway. Yeah. Like,
they won't even look for it.
At that level, like, again, there's a whole bunch of lower level stuff you can do for fun. But if you actually got people who are serious, it's a different conversation.
You know what's been cool? I'll send you a clip. This guy in NC State, big man.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh my
killed
goodness.
Kentucky.
Just killing.
Yeah.
Just
and humble as.
Humble. Not saying
like,
anything.
I'm not going to play in the NBA, but I can beat these guys.
Yeah, but he can kill all these guys.
Who's going to play in the NBA?
But he's just bringing that old school post game back. Really smart, making moves, reading double teams, kicking it out. Like, I just love watching that because it's like it's you know who I'm talking. I'll send you clips.
I don't know.
I'll send you clips.
Send me the clip. I don't know who you're talking about.
I thought you were talking about the shooter.
Nah.
Everyone's been talking about.
He can shoot mid range though.
There's a couple of dudes out there right now who are just playing different, and in the women's game as well.
Yeah,
there's like a couple of girls.
There's a couple of girls who are just changing.
Like some really big girls, who are just huge. Like they're like 6'4" and maybe 110 kilos, and they're just backing people down, flipping it up, and they're not playing traditional basketball. They're like, you can play this game a whole bunch of different ways.
There's so much ways. The analytics doesn't matter really.
No, is it effective? Yeah. So again, they protect the ball well. They use their size. They position early well. They do all these things that they've found are effective. But, again, I think in Australian basketball, they'd never make it because they'd be judged for their size and their physique.
Right
and,
away,
and
yeah.
they'd be crossed off the list, and then you get beaten down and go do something else because you're not a basketballer. Whereas other countries, luckily, don't mind as much as how you look as how effective you are. So,
Yeah. But surely, yes. I mean, that's what Jokic and Luke have changed, right? Hopefully.
which countries? In Australia, no.
Surely it's gonna have some effect on. There's different ways to play this. There's different ways to play this.
It's not. Like Australia has traditionally been, we have one system. Our goal is to have one system that governs the entire country. Everyone plays the same offense in the same way so that you have lots of reps on that, so you're good at it. So we put together a team and everyone's on the same page because everyone's been playing the same way their whole life.
So no matter where you go, you're going to be able to just be plugged in.
If you want to be part of the system, right? So
Yeah.
you don't need to have individual, and you're not allowed to have individual brilliance because that doesn't fit the system and we wouldn't know where you fit. And you put everybody else off. So they make those decisions early. They keep them from under 16, so 14 and 15-year-olds. They keep them involved in the system the whole way through. They get all the opportunities. Then the rationalization I heard was that, well, you can't make it if you don't have experience. You only get experience if we've chosen you and put you into these situations. Mm-hmm. So it's circular. So once you're out, you're out. Once you're in, you're in. And it makes it incredibly difficult to break it in. And you've got to find an alternate pathway, by organising your own NCAA tour and going into New Mexico and, finding a way to dominate and then make the NBA. And then people are like, oh, look, you're in the NBA. Maybe you should be in the Australian team. Like, you've got to find your own pathway and then be dominant and then be selected if you're not one of the crowd favourites.
But the ones who don't find their own way end up getting to professional age, not being able to beat anyone.
Well, they end up if they don't work out, then it's on them. No, they're in the NBL. They're on the bench.
True.
And because we outsource our guards to Americans.
Yeah.
We don't produce enough point guards who can score, play, and that. So we get imports. And we just outsource to imports.
Yeah, we do just outsource
basically we say, oh, no, you don't fit. We don't want you to play like that. Why? Well, because we're going to get our scoring from America. We're going to get this from this country. We're going to, Why
don't they outsource bigs? That's really, now that you just said that, I've thought about it. They don't outsource bigs at all who play differently at all.
No, the same bigs, shot blockers, play inside, player style. Well, and no, but why? Well, because you got the same coaches coaching the same way with the same players who only know how to play one way. Who's going to change it? A coach comes in and goes, okay, I got something different, boys. And they're like, this guy needs to go. Why? Because I don't know how you play the way you're describing. We only play one way. So we find people that fit that system and then we play that system and everyone's playing the same or similar ways all the time.
This is why that Queensland performance program is terrible. That's why they fucking suck.
No, they're really good at what they do.
I think they suck.
They're really good at what they do.
Since my age group, they've been picking, people they chose over me.
Yeah, but you got to move.
And many people.
No, but if you wouldn't have fit, how did you fit? You could dribble, you could pass, you had fadeaway jump shots. You weren't just back to the basket. Like, how you're competitive. You didn't allow the chosen ones to dominate you and tell them how good they were.
Well, that's the thing. The other bigs would allow the chosen ones to do anything to them and praise them like.
Because they knew their role. No, they knew their role.
What shit is that?
You just double-handing that.
I learned it from you last week.
Learned it from me. What the hell?
Pause.
This guy.
That was off camera.
Man.
Don't worry.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was not there. Maybe it was David.
Nah,
some other white guy. I wasn't there. But I think but that's it. Like, I think that like if you want to be included and welcome back, you have to make sure that the people who have been given the opportunities are comfortable and happy. Why? Because we've banked all our money on that one person, boy or girl, and if you take their shine, right, then you're out. Why? Because we're banking on them being good, and it happens every age group and everyone. Anyone who listens to this, who those people are. Right, they're the chosen ones, and I used to think,
I'm sorry.
and you just can't be different. Like, until they don't make it, and then when they don't make it, it's like, well, that's on them, because there's another wave coming through. Let's get the next one, another wave coming through, and that's all. That's the pattern. That's the system.
What were you saying you used to think before I cut you off? You said you used to think.
Oh, I used to think that was a problem. Like, like they're just, well, the other thing is that people get beaten down. So let's say, for example, David's the chosen one, right? Like he's got, and he'll be good. Like he's not a world level guy, but he's good, and we'll send him to Australian champs and we'll send him to world games, and generally we'll lose and we'll make up excuses for that. But that's okay. You know what I mean? As juniors, right? And then, but we'll talk him up and say he's amazing. Okay, and the current group of under 19s, I think they are now, it's a good example of that. They're all NBA guys, but world champs, they didn't do so well. So how good are they? But
Well, sorry, they're saying everyone's NBA now.
everyone's NBA, but that's my point.
Sorry,
So,
but
but David's that guy, right? He's the next NBA guy. Now, I'm competing with him. Okay, now I can kill him every single time we play, but I'm never going to get chosen because he's the next NBA guy, and he's already been to 3 camps, and he's already on the Australian radar. Now, we can't, they don't say, who am I? They say, who is he? What's he up to? Oh, he's working hard every day. He's getting better. Okay, cool. We've invested in him. So he gets chosen all the time.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that in the end, he's not good enough because he's been told how good he was all the time. And even if he's in the NBL, they'll outsource to an American who'll be better than him anyway. And there's no way that I can, and I'm not going to upset him because he's the guy they want. So he has to have the ball. He has to take the shots. He has to make the decisions. So the best I can do is go hide in a corner or dab him up or, try and be a nice team guy so that he gets his and maybe if I'm lucky, I get to play.
But if you go elsewhere and go get better, or even come and be at the same level,
and I go
you won't be
dominate.
welcomed.
I have to be a lot better.
You have to be, true. Yeah,
I'd have to be a lot better. So again, I'd have to be world level.
You have to be
and then someone else has to nominate you as world level. So whether that's a EuroLeague team, whether that's in the NBA, whether you're a starter in the NBA, they're like, okay, now you're in. Why? Because you're still playing NBL. You're a starter in the NBA. We're going to get you in. So you got to be, we're talking the top of the guys, but you've got to be world level if you're going to overcome the investment that Australia's put into an individual. And if he doesn't make it, well, that's on him. No, like all these old people. Like, and the other thing is the coaches. Like, okay, so I was going to say before was that the problem is that usually I see the way that David gets treated and I feel as though it doesn't matter what I do, I'll never get a chance, and so I stop.
Yeah.
And that's David's biggest thing. So you're not as good as me. I keep making this team. You're not as good as me, and I believe him, and I believe all the coaches.
Everyone else who says it.
So I actually stop competing, and I don't find my own pathway. And I don't work on my game. I start listening, and I believe, and therefore, even if I kill him and he goes, see, I'm still making teams, you're not. And I get disappointed because the coaches didn't pick me, even though I killed him. And I know that I'm better than him, and people are telling me I'm better than him because I can see it. But the people in control never admit it, so then I quit. And they're like, see, you weren't mentally strong enough. So, and then if I go around and I make it, they go, see, we did that. We forced you into a situation where you had to get mentally strong, and we forced you to get better, and now you can come and help us.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you do, they'll take credit.
Yeah.
And that happens over and over again. So it's a system that works for itself.
So I was gonna say this has been a cool chat. Like I haven't heard Australian basketball get kind of like broken down in this way, but it is like super obvious when you start talking about it. Like how does Australia fix this issue?
You can't fix it because the same people in charge have been in charge for the last 40 years.
Would you say it's because it's like you play club and then you get into the rep scene, and then from the rep scene you get into the state scene? As opposed to America where it's like everyone just is in their high school. And so it's kind of like, your community is this, you go to that school and then you play. And so there's like kind of like, I guess, an aspect of like difference. Like I would imagine there like different schools play differently and whatnot. As opposed to like Australia where it's like, you're just like, you're in this system where when I explain that system to, mates of mine in America, it doesn't make any sense to them.
Yeah, I think it's a system. Also, as I said, I think it's the same people who are in charge. So, the people who are telling you what's best for Australia are the same people who've been telling you that for the last 30, 40 years. Why would they change their opinion when it's
kept their job?
But it hasn't worked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we invest more money at the Australian Institute of Sport than anyone else. You know, that's a government-run institution. And, you know, like we got one bronze medal, you know, in the men's side after, 50 years of investment? Yeah. And it's like, well, if that was a business, then
everyone's getting fired.
Everyone's getting fired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or there's a review. And the people who were running it don't just wait for 2 years and then get their jobs back. Like, that's not how it works. Like, because you know what you did wasn't working. And we're not going to go bankrupt because you're not good at what you do. We go, nah, let's do the same thing that's working. And those people aren't going to change what they're doing, but they're also going to make sure that they convince everyone else what they're doing is right, because that allows them to keep their jobs. Yeah. Like this is their livelihood. It's in their interest.
Yeah, why would they want to change it?
It's in their interest to continually maintain the same system and crucify anyone who disagrees with them, because if they were proved to be wrong and they lose their jobs, they wouldn't have a job. So they're like, no, I'm right. I'm the power to be. Right? You will do it this way, and if you don't, you're wrong. Right? And we'll fight. We'll use our connections to get rid of you. And there's just history after history after history about people who are influential getting rid of people who dissented or did the different or spoke up and said, hey, look, I think we can do this differently. Yeah. And as soon as they do, boom, they're gone, right? Even if they played the game the Australian way for a long period of time, as soon as they don't, they're out.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a crew that does that over and over again, and everyone in the game knows who that is, and you've got to play with them, because otherwise they will get rid of you. And so how can anything fresh ever happen when it's a small group of people controlling the basketball landscape consistently for such a long period of time?
Yeah, and I guess like my experience of like, you know, being a junior and then growing up, you know, Jesse Gee was one of my best mates, and he's someone that
totally different.
Completely. First of all, he got a lot better than the rest of us really quickly. Super talented guy, but he does not play like an Australian guard
at all.
Mm. And you know, I've had conversations with people where they're like, "Oh, like, do you think Jesse should be in the NBL?" And obviously, I'm his mate, so whatever my opinion is, maybe it's not valid, but like, I think he's at that level, because when he played that season with the Wizards and Mitch McCarron came back, and Mitch is, you know, one of the better point guards in Australian basketball. I thought Jesse looked like he was in that level with Mitch, and when I've talked to people about why hasn't Jesse gotten that shot, there's been that, you know, he's a bit different. He, you know, he's a point guard. Like, he hasn't showed us that he's just, you know, can be off the ball and play defense and all that sort of stuff. Everywhere he's gone, he's, you know, he's been that scorer, been that, you know, dynamic guard, and it's just not what they're looking for.
Look, he's not 6'3" or white and weighing 95 kilos. Like, it's pretty straightforward. But the thing here, what I loved about it was when he went over to Europe, you know, which he just did, and he killed that Euro Cup team and had 33 and proved to himself that he was an elite basketball player in a professional landscape. Yeah. Australia's not professional. It's a bunch of semi-professional leagues pretending to be professional. But the NBL is not professional.
They're convincing everyone.
No, they're promoting it. They're talking about it. Like, this is the best league.
You have a great game here. He should be in the NBA. You have a good outing in the playoffs.
That's what they're trying to say. But like, you know, like, what do you call it? Anderson just came out and he was like, "Does anyone?" He goes,
Anderson said that.
Yeah, like what's his face?
The legend.
Yeah,
Anderson. Yeah.
And he's like, "This is a joke." He goes, "That I could be washed up in Europe and then come back and be in the All-Star 5 for 4 years. Like, how can you say that this is one of the best leagues in the world when I'm done. I can't play anywhere else. Like, no one else will have me. I can come back and dominate." Like, and he just crucified.
No one else would have him.
Yeah, like he was done. He got crucified. Like, he just crucified everybody. It was like Australia, like, and he just went on and on and on and on in his podcast. So, you know, because he was like, it's all just made up. Like if anyone believes it, like, you're just lying to yourself. And, you know, like, that's a guy who, you know, has played overseas for, you know, forever. Like,
so sorry. You gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, I've seen guys who are, you know, the new hype of these new young guards. I've seen dudes who have either played with or played around who are incredible, who won't even get the slightest chance to make rosters, NBA rosters, but guys who grew up in Aussie who are the phenoms here, who couldn't even touch these guys because they have that stamp from the NBL or whatever, I guess already put on this pedestal that they could play in the league. Whereas, yeah, I'm sure maybe a few of them can, but there are guys already over there or in Europe who are just way different, like in terms of just pure talent, pure skill, pure heart, that they can't match with. But that stamp from the NBL now, I guess, is being, I don't know, it's being, anyway, yeah, I don't know, it's being respected
Yeah, and
by some people.
like, so it is, maybe the answer to it is when like more and more of our kids take, you know, the route that Jesse took, where it's like he basically got himself to college on his own. Like his mother and my mother were just like putting films together for him, contacting these colleges and everything, and getting him over there. Like maybe that's the blueprint for Australia having to make a change, where it's like a lot of our really good players are ending up over in college. They're not coming through our systems. Like I think the highest Jesse played was like Wizards bronze as a junior, so he was never looked at as one of those guys that, you know, when after he did his, you know, stint over in JUCO, came back and he was better than everyone.
Yeah.
And people were like, wow, where did Jesse come from? The rest of us, it wasn't as much of a surprise, but like maybe that's like the blueprint that then, you know, makes Australian basketball think about the way that their system works, when a lot of our talented kids end up going over and playing college ball, leaving our borders, you know, going over and playing in Europe. And that's how that they, I guess they get recognized.
I probably think they don't care.
They probably
I don't
don't.
think they care.
No, they can't because they're jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
If I challenge what I'm saying, I'm gonna lose my job. Like,
Yeah,
like
I
what
don't
if?
think they care.
Like I was, and it was Anstey before, not Anderson. Anstey. Anstey's the same thing, playing
Okay,
the NBA
okay.
and stuff. Like he's still 7-foot center and stuff. But yeah, so I was at a coaching thing, and the guy was there, and he's like, "Yeah, so we've been teaching this for 7 years. We don't teach that anymore. We're going to go in a different direction. We're now doing this." And I went, "Mate, last year you were preaching to everyone this is the only way to play basketball. This year you've changed your mind, and now we're doing something completely different, and that's the only way to play basketball." Like I find that hard to justify in my head that we're so absolute, and this is the way we play basketball for these reasons. When you were saying the exact same thing about something else yesterday, like, you know, it doesn't sit well with me that, you know, this is the only way for 7 more years, and then this is the only way for 7 more years. I'm like, and we sit there listening, and go, okay, that's what we'll teach, and it blows my mind that's how Australia works. Like, I like the and we're gonna wrap this up in a second, but I like how other countries work. Europe, America, like everyone's running different things, and they recruit to their systems. And you get to college, and a team that's playing a certain way plays another team that plays a different way they've never seen before. And the underdog kills the best team because they literally only have one style of playing, and the underdog style outmatches the other style, and they win. But the cool thing is that at least there are different styles, so people reflect and go, well, I don't like losing. Look what they did, let's copy that. Look what they do, let's copy that. And Europe's the same, you know, Spain plays different to France, plays different. So everyone plays, but because it's a small continent, they have junior world games where they all, you know, Euro Cup stuff, where they all play each other, whatever it is. And so they're experiencing different styles all the time.
Yeah.
Australia's so far away, we just make up our own style, and every state all runs the same offense against each other, you know, at national championships. And then they all come together for the Australian camps. They all run the same offense there. And we look great. What are we really good at? We're really good at executing offense and playing team defense. Unfortunately, that only works if you play in Australia, which is great because everyone plays in the NBL.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go overseas, you're going to have to play in different systems and against different athletes, and you're going to have different ways of playing because that's necessary. So, you know, I think that variety is more important than having standardized systems.
Variety and a bit of creativity.
Yeah, I was going to say creativity was the word that was in my head the whole time. There's just not a lot of creativity, I guess.
Yeah. It's not rewarded. It's not encouraged.
And there's kind of like what you were saying, like there's no, this is the talent we have. How do we make this talent work together? It goes, this is what I need my guard to look like. This is what I need my big to look like.
Yeah.
We just pick those guys because we feel comfortable, and then we run that same
but
stuff.
and again, Jesse got caught into it. Like, Jesse didn't leave until last year.
Yeah.
He was trying to prove himself as part of the system. And didn't matter how much he dominated, like, you know, at an NBL 1 level, he was never going to get a look in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and he'd try to prove it. And, you know, there's lots of guys like that now who have gone, okay, well, I'm going to go to Europe. They go over there and they kill it. And then they're like, well, good. At least I know I'm good enough.
At least I know I can play.
You know what I mean? Rather than believing coaches who are like, oh, you just don't fit. It's like, well, does that mean I can't play? No, it doesn't. You can go get it done. So, you know, again, it took Jesse a long time to realize that he just didn't fit in this system and then go overseas and prove it. So that was cool.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely like, obviously, like having conversations with him. It was something that he was always like, you know, tossing up. Do I stay in that NBL 1 and try and push, or do I go overseas? And I think he's made the right choice.
I think he has. And there's many Jessies out here. We're all Jessies.
Yeah.
It's like I'd love to be Jesse.
But that's the idea. The idea is that we all are. If you don't fit, then go test yourself somewhere else.
Go figure out. You'll know. There's only a few nutcases out here. This guy years ago told me to shoot off 1 foot. Like, dog, what are you talking about? Shoot threes off 1 foot, and then years later, I see some dude in Europe making it work. That God,
Some big
no, it was a God. It was a God.
God?
This guy was just shooting threes, just shooting threes off 1 foot.
I was talking about Jokic.
Should have listened to.
Yeah, Jokic does it,
does
but
it.
Victor Wembanyama
Wembanyama,
does
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like there's a
Just
guard who
creative
does
stuff.
it. Hook shots, like
Cool
people
stuff.
who are good at
Dude,
doing
when you
something
do a
different.
sky hook, people are like, "Whoa!"
It's been around for a
It's
while.
been around for a while. Yeah, like it's a move.
Gotta watch the tapes from this guy.
Just watch the
man.
tape.
Why are you resisting so much? Why did you resist it?
That's in my nature, KB.
Because all the
It's in my nature. It's in my nature, you know. I
wanted
wanted
to
to be
fit
part
in.
of
You just wanted to
Queensland.
fit in.
I want to be. I just want to fit in
fit in.
with the Queensland Performance Program. Hey, no, I'm joking. Serge's podcast, man.
That's
Maybe
good.
we did too much real talk today, but this is what
Too
we're
much
here
of the
for.
truth.
This is what we don't know if it's the truth.
It's
This is a
not the-
disclaimer.
It's our truth.
It's
our
our
truth.
truth.
Yeah,
It's our
exactly.
truth.
And we're just
Look, we could be
speaking.
wrong, and Australia basketball could be right.
You know,
Yeah.
anyone could be right or wrong.
Anyone.
We just, you know, we're
their own
just
perspective.
searching. That's the whole point of this. You know what I mean? And Isaac, thank you, man.
Thank
This is
you.
a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Man,
It was
thank you
good.
for coming, man. We
It was good fun.
we got to some good answers today, I think. Oh, some good discourse. God bless. David, thank you.
Always.
Kirron Brown, thank you. Isaac, thank you.
Thanks, man.
The searchers, thank you. Keep searching. God bless. Peace.